Friends, Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com, your wicked chef. It's been a couple days now. Lily has gone through what a horrible hurricane, tropical storm. This thing came and left us in pure devastation. I'm looking at the news, all up the East Coast, the Caribbean, all kind of damage. For those of you who are in the affected areas, my sympathies, my prayers goes out to you guys. I know you guys are resourceful and you're going to get your stuff together. We were lucky here in Southern Ontario. Well, for the most part. My roof, well, there's damage on there and I've got to sort that out. But today's video is pretty much to connect with you guys, let you guys know that we're praying for you guys, all of you who are affected by this massive storm, and to share a quick recipe with you guys. Lily, a fan who's probably in the affected areas, asked me, Chris, what can I prepare during a hurricane or after a hurricane or when we have no power? Now, this may seem like a very basic recipe and some of you may turn up your nose to it, but trust me, this here is something classic, full of flavor, and you're gonna love it. Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com, guys. Be safe. Hey guys, as I said, the recipe is going to be very quick and something we can put together when there's no power, like in the situation where there's a storm or hurricane or whatever else. And today I'm using sardines, and this is 1 can of sardines. This one is already in lemon sauce, but usually I get them, they have them packed with pepper, with natural oils, with water, stuff like that. But this is 1 can of sardines. Trust me guys, you're going to love this little recipe here once you put it together. And remember, the whole idea is we can't cook, and that goes well with crackers. Now, if you do have bread at home, certainly use bread, but just about everyone usually have crackers at home, and it's something that lasts long. So I'm going to say, if you are stocking up on supplies for a storm or something, stock up on these things that will last a fair amount of time. Some fresh ground black pepper. And these ingredients here, I'm only adding most of these here just to make it to stretch this 1 can of sardines. So I've got here one fairly big tomato. And again, if you don't have this at home and you're in a storm situation, you can obviously use what you have. I have here 1 scallion. I still got to put my little Scotch bonnet pepper in there. I've got my Caribbean Sunshine, just a little piece of that just to pick it up a little. A small onion. The juice, well, maybe about a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. If you got the bottled stuff, feel free to use that. If you've got limes, you can also use lime in there. And the 1 can of sardine. Now, I'm going to show you a second step, and that means I'm going to be using some vegetable oil. But remember, the whole vegetable oil thing is if you do have power and you want to just make this recipe as an everyday recipe. So let's put this thing together, and trust me, a little bit of this sort of cooked up, well, we're not cooking, this sardine on those crackers, man, it will go down so nice. Wicked. So all we got to do is open up this can of sardine and put it into a nice big bowl. Let the oils and everything run into it. That's cool. And what I want to do now, and this is totally optional, I don't like, these things are packed with the belly as well as the vertebra, whatever, that bone that goes down the middle. You can certainly leave it on there, but I don't like doing that. Now you can use 2 forks and break it apart, and it'll break apart and be easy for you guys. But for the camera and for you guys to be able to see it, I'm just going to pick it up in my hand. And what you want to do, you want to break it down the middle of the fish and separate it. And there's that middle bone or vertebrae or vertebra, whatever you call it, and I'm just going to discard that because it has a sort of a crunchy feel to it and I don't like it. And there's part of the belly or the stomach or the nasty stuff, and I'm just going to toss that out. So there we go, I've got 2 fillets of sardine here, and like I said, some people may just crush this as it is and use it, but the option of removing that stuff I just did is totally up to you. So with my sardines all cleaned up now, I've got a fork, and I'm just going to give this press just to break it up into bigger, well, smaller pieces. Now what we're going to do, we're going to add all those fresh vegetables, the tomato, onion, scallion, as well as that Scotch bonnet pepper. Cut it up very fine. Well, except for the tomato, you can leave it nice and chunky, so it looks more appealing, and it adds more body to it. But with the onion, Mr. Man will cause your breath to vamp, so cut it nice and thin. Everything is prepped now. I've got my tomato nice and chunky. I've cut up that scallion thin. The little pieces, I've chopped it up very fine. The quarter of a Scotch bonnet pepper. Guys, if you don't have Scotch bonnet pepper, I mean, I say you don't necessarily need it. All of these ingredients is just sort of to make this something that more than one person can eat. So we're stretching this by adding all these ingredients here and adding flavor and the Caribbean vibe, you know what I mean? Sliced up onions nice and thin. So all of this is going to go in there now, and then we're going to top it with the black pepper and the lemon juice. It's assembly time now, guys. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to grab all the lovely tomato, toss in that chopped up scallion. Woo-wee. In goes that Scotch bonnet pepper. Then I'm going to hit it with the fresh lemon juice. Remember, you can also use lime juice if you want. And what that does, it gets some of that fishy smell out of this, and it adds a nice little citrus twist to this. Fresh ground black pepper. And I'm topping it last, this case here, with the chopped up onions. And this is where I am personalizing this dish. I'm going to say I've got power. My stove is working at this point. So at this point, what you guys would do is stir this up, mix it up well, let it sit for about 5 minutes, and then this is good to go. There's no cooking required. I'm going to go an extra step now because this is the way I usually do it when I'm eating it normally. I'm going to heat up 1 to 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil on my stove, and I'm going to pour it all over here to sort of cook that onion a little bit and to release some of that flavor into it here. My oil is nice and hot now, so all I'm going to do is pour it onto the onions, and then this is basically done, guys. All you got to do is give this a quick stir. Make sure all of those flavors marry together. And what you have here is a nice little sardine something straight out of a can. I know that, and a lot of you are probably thinking this is not going to taste good, but trust me on this. I grew up on this stuff. This was like everyday stuff for me. What I'm going to do is grab some of this, put it on a cracker. Lovely. And remember, guys, this is something you can have during a storm. There's no need to heat that oil. You don't even need to add that oil, but I love that extra added step on there. And I know I'm talking with my mouth full now. Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com, guys. I do hope you guys are looking out for yourselves, your neighbors, friends. As a community, we can overcome this hurricane. Do help in where you can. And remember, our thoughts and prayers from the Caribbean Pot family is out there for you guys. Have a great day and make the best of everything.